Welcome back to Poorly Educated Today in the News, the only show where the news is hotter than a jalapeno in a tanning bed and twice as confused. Today's headlines ain't just wild, they're full-on raccoon in the attic chaotic. So buckle up, grab a Mountain Dew, and prepare to watch American democracy do donuts in a Walmart parking lot. Segment 1. America goes full maximum pressure, bless its heart. Now folks, the United States woke up this morning and decided subtlety is for fancy people who pronounce the L in salmon. We're running a foreign policy doctrine called maximum pressure, which is just government speak for turn every knob until it breaks. We grabbed Nicolas Maduro like he was a loose chicken at the county fair. Delta Force flew in, shut off every radar in Venezuela, and used drones that shoot faster than my cousin Ricky drinks Busch Light at Thanksgiving. They hauled Maduro to the USS Iwo Jima probably faster than Amazon Prime could. And the White House says this ain't war. It's catastrophic law enforcement. Buddy, anytime you blind a country's air defenses and kidnap their president before breakfast, you've left the realm of law enforcement and wandered into the land of hold my beer and watch this. But the Justice Department said it's legal because it was limited in nature, scope, and duration. That's what my uncle said about his third marriage. Didn't hold up there either. Segment 2. Oil, ships, and international pickup lines. After we snatched Maduro, we started grabbing oil tankers too. We boarded a ship called the Veronica, which sounds less like a tanker and more like a woman my cousin claims he dated before he found God. Marines hopped on board like it was a Black Friday sale, and we're now planning to sell tens of millions of seized barrels of oil to pay for rebuilding Venezuela. That is the geopolitical equivalent of beating a guy at poker and then using his money to buy your next deck of cards. Cuba's mad, Russia's mad, half of South America's mad. But hey, according to Washington, it's called leverage. Where I'm from, we call that borrowing your neighbor's lawnmower and then selling it back to him. Segment 3. Iran, protests, and the 12-day war that still echoes like a bad country song. Iran is having the kind of week where you wish you could hit restart like a glitchy Xbox. Protests everywhere, security forces cracking down, and America rolling a carrier strike group into position like, howdy y'all? Remember June 2025? The last time we poked Iran, we flattened their nuclear sites with B-2 bombers flying halfway around the world like giant airborne ninjas. Now Trump says if Iran keeps executing protesters, we're going to revisit 2025, which is the foreign policy version of threatening to bring out your old high school wrestling trophies. But then Tehran blinked. They went on TV like, no, we stopped the executions. Please don't do the giant bomber thing again. It's diplomacy, but the kind where both parties talk while hiding behind furniture. Segment 4. The Gaza Truce, Phase 2, because war has DLC now. Gaza's ceasefire just entered Phase 2, which sounds like a video game expansion pack. Nobody knows the details, which always makes me nervous because when the government hides the details, it's usually because the details look like a possum chewed on the wiring. The rumor is more hostages, more coordination, and hopefully less everyone blowing up everything. At this point, peace in the Middle East is basically the IRS of world politics. We never like dealing with it, but we always have to. Segment 5. Immigration, sanctuary cities, and the 75-country timeout. On the home front, America slapped a travel freeze on 75 countries. 75. That's not a visa policy. That's a cosmic grounding. You didn't even ground your own kids that hard. The administration said folks from those countries were using too many welfare benefits. The Cato Institute said the data's wrong, but this administration ain't exactly known for letting data get in the way of a good crackdown. Somalis lost TPS. ICE is storming cities like they're filming a reboot of Cops. Maximum overdrive. And sanctuary cities are getting their federal funds turned off. That's like your landlord taking your security deposit because you wouldn't let his cousin live in your shed. And pepper spray is flying around Minneapolis like 4th of July fireworks. Except on the 4th of July, nobody cries this much. Segment 6. The killing of Renee Good and the federal government versus Minnesota cage match. Renee Good's killing has turned Minneapolis into a political minefield. ICE pulled her over. She tried driving away slow. And by slow, I mean slow enough your grandma could have passed her in a Buick. An agent fired 3 shots in under a second. The government called it self-defense. The video said, no it ain't. And the community said, absolutely not, you government possums. Now Minnesota is suing the federal government. Illinois is suing too. Congress is filing impeachment articles against Kristi Noem. DOJ officials are resigning like the office coffee machine finally broke for good. Meanwhile, the administration is threatening to use the Insurrection Act. Folks, if your domestic policy requires the same legal tool used in the Civil War, maybe rethink. Segment 7. Supreme Court hears sports drama more intense than the Super Bowl. The Supreme Court is hearing 2 cases about transgender athletes, and the mood is frostier than a gas station Slurpee. Some justices sounded like they were auditioning for ESPN commentary. Some sounded like they were reading tweets from 2018. And Justice Thomas basically said the quiet part out loud, which he does with the reliability of a rooster at sunrise. The likely ruling? States win. Which means this will become the new cultural wildfire of 2026. And let me tell you, this country's forest is already dry as a communion cracker. Segment 8. The stock market does not care if the world is on fire. Wall Street had another green day. The world is collapsing, Minneapolis is melting, Iran's on edge, Venezuela just got kidnapped, and stocks are like, this is fine. The AI sector is carrying the entire market like it's lifting weights in a monster truck rally. TSMC announced huge profits, Nvidia's flying high, and oil prices dropped because we didn't bomb anything today. I swear, if aliens landed tomorrow and asked for our leader, the stock market would just shrug and say, is it good for semiconductors? Segment 9. Space Emergency, Crew 11. Says nope and comes home early. Even the astronauts are tapping out this week. NASA had to evacuate the entire ISS Crew 11 early after one of them had a medical emergency. They jumped in the SpaceX capsule and splashed into the Pacific like they were bailing out of a cosmic roller coaster. When astronauts, literal space heroes, say, I've had enough of Earth's nonsense, that's when you know the vibe is off. Segment 10. America's Gerontocracy and the Greenland Rerun. Over 24 members of Congress are 80 or older, and more than half are running again. That's not a legislature. That's a Cracker Barrel breakfast lineup. Meanwhile, Trump is once again flirting with the idea of acquiring Greenland. Denmark said no. Trump said, can't rely on Denmark. And Greenland said, please stop making us part of your custody battle. In conclusion, America is juggling more crises than a raccoon in a laundromat, and somehow the stock market's still sipping lemonade like it's a lazy Sunday. We've got global raids, federal lawsuits, Supreme Court brawls, and Minnesota threatening to go full frontier justice. If 2026 keeps this pace, we're all going to need NASA to evacuate us too, preferably somewhere without Wi-Fi, politicians, or oil tankers named Veronica. Stay tuned, stay confused, and stay proudly poorly educated.